Jackson saga continues its twists and turns, and we've got it covered from all angles. Good morning, everybody. This is Undisputed. I'm Jen Hale. Glad you're with us. That's Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharp. Hi, guys. How are we?
Good morning, Jen. Good morning. You the old yoke last night? Joel Embiid ran from that. That's why his calf hurt.
It was against air. There was no Embiid.
Why you think Embiid didn't want that? He didn't want that smoke.
You know what?
He want that smoke.
Do you want this smoke? Have you given up completely now and you never wear a tie anymore?
Hey,
Is this the new deal?
Hey,
So wait a second. The trend,
I started a trend.
The trend that I set starting in 2006. That's 17 years ago. I started this trend, and all of a sudden, if you can't beat them, you got to join them.
I just beat him.
No.
I just beat him at the old game.
Wow.
See, I wear the tie. You might get distracted. Talking about I'm all business-like. So I come out here like you, beat you down, and you're doing your...
Yeah, you're just playing for a tie. That's all you got.
You got to beat him at his own game.
Yeah.
Before you two wrestle over fashion trends, guys, let's talk about these NFL owners' meetings and what is happening in Baltimore. Lamar Jackson, the NFL world is still reacting to him tweeting out yesterday that he requested a trade back on March 2nd. During the league meetings yesterday, Ravens head coach John Harbaugh asked about Lamar's future only minutes after that tweet. Harbaugh said, quote, "I don't know what direction it's going to go. I don't have a crystal ball. I can't tell the future. But I know whatever happens is going to be good. It's going to be okay. I have my hopes. I love Lamar Jackson." I don't know that Lamar Jackson loves the Ravens, though. Shannon, what happens next here?
Skip, if I'm not mistaken, Lamar Jackson tweeted yesterday that he requested a trade on March 2nd, right? So the Ravens had this information for 3 weeks. And nothing has happened. As I've said before, Lamar Jackson has no leverage. He's never had leverage. And Skip, when we come out here and say that, well, you don't want Lamar to get paid. No, I'm just telling you how free agency in the NFL works. When you have the franchise tag, you cannot be free. Skip, that means you're uninhibited. If I got the tag, how is that free agency? What did Coach Belichick ask yesterday? When they asked Coach Belichick, Lamar Jackson's not free.
Okay.
So he doesn't have any leverage. What does he have leverage to do? Where can he go? They own his rights. So with that being said, well, Lamar can just hold out and do what? He's still not playing football. The Baltimore Ravens are going to field a team in 2023 with or without Lamar Jackson. And in order for Lamar Jackson to play football, the Baltimore Ravens are going to have to say, A, we're willing to give you the compensation that you want. B, trade you and allow someone else to give you the compensation.
Okay.
Other than that, Lamar Jackson's going to be sitting on his couch.
Okay. And as you said, if he sits this whole coming year, then the contract will not toll, meaning that they'll just put you right back on the tag the next year. See Le'Veon Bell, who is no longer in the league.
Correct. And so now it's like, exactly, Skip, and that's the thing. You want to try to get past these franchise tags. How the players, unbeknownst to me, see, I guess a lot of guys like, well, I'm never going to be franchise tagged. That's something that I don't have to worry about. But the guys that are, Skip, and it's just a bad way because I don't believe it's fair to a player like basketball. Skip, the guy plays 3-4 years, fulfilled his contract. They can't put a tag on him. Basically, the Ravens says, well, if we don't want Lamar, somebody's going to have to give us compensation for him. Well, if you don't want me, just let me go. You shouldn't be able to receive compensation for something that you don't want. And in order to be free, as in free agency like baseball, basketball, Skip, you can't put a tag. I remember when the tag came out, the owners used, well, we want to keep our star players. We want to keep the Elways and the Marinos and the Aikman. Well, pay them. And you can keep them.
Okay.
You don't think NBA players wanted to keep a LeBron James or wanted to keep a Kevin Durant? But the guy, when you became free, they had the opportunity to shop their services uninhibited. Not having to worry about their team receiving compensation.
Are you saying the NFL system is unfair?
It is absolutely unfair.
Okay.
But Skip,
yet
the players agreed to it.
They voted to.
I thought like it was almost you.
It was because they were ready to get back and collect their checks.
Collect that check, and then they bicker about it. So I can bicker about it from here, Skip. But look, this is where we are, Skip. Lamar Jackson has been in this situation, and the franchise tag has always been unfair because it prohibits a guy from going and get his. Skip, for instance, I should be able to go to the highest bidder. without having to worry about the compensation that the old team's going to get because you didn't want me. You slapped the tag on me because I couldn't go, and then if I did go, you'd get compensation. How about just pay me? And then we wouldn't be in this situation. You had after the third year, after the fourth year, and we knew, Skip, once it got to that fifth year, that man played the ink out of his contract.
Yep.
He says now the discount that I might have been willing to give you, and maybe the Ravens underestimated the market because you looked at Patrick Mahomes and everybody's like, well, Patrick Mahomes only got this. Nobody else is going to go over that. Man, they pole vaulted over Patrick Mahomes' contract. And the Ravens seem surprised that the numbers are now, Skip, about to go north of $50 million on the regular.
Yep. Okay.
When you could have got Lamar for around $42, $43 million had you done the deal 2-3 years ago.
Yep.
And you didn't.
Okay.
So they have no one to blame but themselves. But Lamar is in a situation, Skip, he can't do anything because he's not free.
Okay. I'm so with you times 1,000, but I can't change the predicament that Lamar finds himself in.
The system is the system.
It is the system, and he must play under a system that he ratified. He voted to ratify and accept. Okay, before I unleash on this, allow me to say one more time, Lamar Jackson is available. He's not free, but he is out there for all comers. If you want Lamar freaking Jackson, a former MVP, a gamer, a baller, a leader of the highest magnitude to my eyes, you can go get him for 2 first-round picks and paying the freight, the whatever the market will bear of whatever. You can make a deal with him because right now he has a deal on the table from Baltimore, which he is, again, he's acknowledged this publicly that it's 3 years for $133 million. Well, that's
the fully guaranteed, right?
That's all guaranteed. That's 3 years, 133. That's $44 million a year. Not bad, but he wants Deshaun, which is 5 years, 230 guaranteed million. So when you said, wait a second, they're 100 million apart. Well, that's why, because we're from 133 all the way to 230. So let's call it, let's just round it off at $100 million of guaranteed cash.
Yes.
That's the impasse. That's the stalemate. That's the predicament in which he finds himself. This is just me. You have to step back from all this and you have to say, wait a second, it's Lamar Jackson. He's there for the taking. Let's do Washington. I know they're up for sale. They're in limbo. They're in transition. They're a wreck of a franchise. You want to make a splash? Just go get him. Give up your next 2. I don't care about your 2 first-round picks. Pay him $220 million. I don't know, somewhere in the ballpark, because he's ready to jump at the first legitimate offer that he gets. Maybe it's not quite Deshaun, but get up in the ballpark.
Right.
Make it worth his while because he's earned that money, and I believe he will continue to earn it at the highest level. If I'm the Colts and I got the 4th overall pick, I want Lamar. I'm sorry. And then brings me, before I unleash on this, remember, yesterday at the meetings, Robert Kraft volunteers to the media. I got a text from Meek Mill the other day, and he says Lamar wants to be a Patriot, wants to play in Foxborough. And I'm like, why would you volunteer that? Well, he's putting the pressure. He says, that's not my call. It's Bill Belichick's call.
But everybody knew that. Okay,
but he's putting the pressure back on Belichick because I think Robert Kraft is saying, in effect, between the lines, if I ran the football operation, I'd think seriously about going to get that guy, right?
Yeah.
Well, Belichick, I doubt it very seriously.
Well, because Belichick said Lamar's not free.
He's not free. But again, is he available? Yes.
Yes.
You can acquire him. You could do it right now.
Right.
You could do it in 5 minutes. If you'll just call up the Ravens.
Right.
We are going to make an offer. We are going to give you our next 2 first rounds, however you want to do, however that falls out.
Right.
And then you've got to make a deal with Lamar. Okay? So here's why, back to your point, that probably won't happen. Because Lamar has played the PR game so badly. He's lost the PR game so badly that, to your point, he has no leverage. Right. Okay, quick point. Our friend Jarrett Bell wrote about what happened yesterday to John Harbaugh, which we reacted to on the fly on the show. So John Harbaugh is about to sit down for a half-hour interview. All the coaches were going to get interviewed. They're all available. And right on schedule, the little bombshell drops on Twitter. It was a big bombshell from Lamar about I demanded or requested a trade, blah, 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 all the tweets. And Jarrett Bell wrote in today's USA Today, what a trap. Jackson locked in a contract stalemate with the Ravens and apparently attracting little, if any, interest in the market, decided to put the coach on the spot by dropping the bomb when Harbaugh had no choice but to publicly address the matter in the moment. Well, I love Jarrett Bell. Know him well, worked with him. But again, his first line was, what a trap. No, the trap is for Lamar. He's the one in the trap.
He's ensnared in it.
Okay.
Correct.
This was the first smart move that he made PR-wise because he did put John on something of a spot. And predictably, John handled it just fine. I love Lamar. I love Todd Monken. We got a new coordinator. We're onward and upward. We're full speed ahead.
We're in the lab right now.
Yeah. Jump on the train, Lamar. We're waiting for you to jump on the train. Well, it's beautiful, and he kind of put the ball right back in Lamar's court.
Yeah.
Okay, now let's look at the bigger picture. What do we have here? Nobody knows the Ravens any better than the man sitting across from me. How are they regarded around the league? They're top-notch, first-rate, top drawer, class of the league, tradition, dignity. They do things the right way, right?
When they dig in,
okay.
I mean, you saw what Ed Reed.
I got it.
Ed Reed wanted a couple of $100,000. I just said, okay, this is where we'll go. If you can get more than that, you have our blessings.
Okay.
When Ray Lewis wanted his big money, they say, this is where we'll go.
Okay.
If you get more than that somewhere else, you have our blessings.
I hate to say this, I can't even remember those impasses. I can't remember because I know how respected John Harbaugh is. I know how respected Ozzie Newsome is because he's at the top of my list, and you know him as well as anybody.
What about, you remember Terrell Suggs?
Yes, I do.